Okay, it's easy. You don't have to say it at all. Just go the whole review. You never have to say it. It's so easy. Just don't say it. Just don't say it. It's easy. Okay. Society. Ah, fuck!
Send in the clown.
Joker was written by Todd Phillips and Scott Silver, directed by Todd Phillips, and stars Joaquin Phoenix, Zazie Beetz, Robert De Niro, among a bunch of other people. And basically, Joker is about the Joker and how the Joker becomes the Joker. Bit of a character study, I guess. Dark thriller. Yeah, it's the Joker becoming the Joker. That's what it's about. And that's what happens. I'm just gonna come right out up front and say this. I think Joaquin Phoenix's performance as Arthur Fleck, aka the Joker, is the saving grace of this film. It's obviously the strongest and best part of this whole movie is his performance. It's awesome. It's great. It's the most enthralling Joker performance since Heath Ledger's. And if you're gonna do the comparing game and say, oh, which one did you like more? Honestly, I like this performance a lot more. I actually think it's more memorable. I like the fact that the movie gives a sort of a reason for the Joker's, iconic laughter. I really, really, really like Joaquin Phoenix's performance. And his performance alone is what keeps this movie afloat for me. Everything else about it is just so just okay, but his performance is perfect. I thought Zazie Beetz was underutilized. Here, she feels like she's just sort of showing up for a paycheck. She's just sort of phoning it in all the scenes she's in. It could have been anyone else. Her character could have been anyone else, and it wouldn't have made a difference. And I mean, I almost kind of wish it wasn't Zazie Beetz. I kind of wish maybe they hired someone who, was an unknown, or someone who just, wasn't her, because it wouldn't have changed anything, but it also wouldn't have been as distracting. It's like every time she's on screen, I'm like, oh, hey, look, it's Zazie Beetz. But she's not doing anything, and she's just there. And I'm just sort of wondering why she was even in this movie to begin with. Like, it could have been literally anyone else, and it wouldn't have changed a thing. Everyone else in this movie's fine. Robert De Niro's fine. Everyone's fine. No one stands out except for Joaquin Phoenix, and I think that's probably for the best. I feel like if anyone outshined Joaquin Phoenix, it probably would have been not good for the movie. Joaquin Phoenix's performance, like I said, it's phenomenal. He's the most memorable Joker. He feels the most real. He's perfect in this movie, to be honest. I mean, if you're gonna go see this movie, the number one thing you should go see it for is his performance, because it's really good. I thought the score was a little overbearing at times. It tries too hard in certain scenes to manipulate you into a certain emotion. It sort of ruins certain scenes. The scene would have been more impactful had there not been music, or at least the music had been used minimally. In terms of the visual aspect of this movie and the directing, I thought it looks good, I guess. This whole movie has a nice yellow layer over it that makes everything look really gross and grimy, and it's good for the setting. I get it. It's the early 80s. Gotham is in this weird area, sort of like akin to like the, what New York was like in the 80s, and how it was nothing but trash and porno theaters. It's heavy and it's gross. Crime is everywhere, and I really liked the setting, and I think that the movie does a good job visually making the place look gross and look grimy and look disgusting and look, heavy and look, yeah. Most of the time the movie's pretty visually bland. I mean, it's fine. There's no part of the movie that I think looks bad, but there's nothing in this movie where I would see a shot and think like, oh man, that's such a good shot, or this movie looks amazing, because it doesn't look amazing. It just looks fine. I think there are several scenes that do stand out from the film though. The one that was shown in the trailer is where the Joker is dancing on a set of stairs, and I think that is just a great scene. I think it was probably one of the most memorable scenes, along with what I would say the closing shot. It's obvious what their intent was with the closing shot, and if you've seen the movie, you know what the closing shot is and what their intent for that was, and I think that's probably, if anything, that shot is probably the best shot in the whole movie. There were some scenes with violence, and everyone's sort of worried about the violence in this movie, and the movie isn't really that violent at all. However, the scenes with violence didn't feel very impactful for me because of the reliance on digital blood and CG blood. And, there's a scene where the Joker kills someone, and he's got, you know, blood all over his face and his chest, and it just very obviously looks fake. Like, a lot of the blood in this movie's fake, and you can tell, and it stands out. And as soon as I saw it, it just took me right out of the movie, where I'm just like, why not just use real liquid? Why not just make fake blood and use the fake blood in the movie instead of relying on digital blood in post, because it looks bad. And it immediately takes me out, and it makes the scene feel weightless, and it's just blah. It's blah. Like, why? I don't like it. In terms of its storytelling, I feel like the movie doesn't really have a lot to say about the things it tries to talk about. If you're looking for something deep, I mean, this movie isn't really that deep at all. It's as deep as a puddle. It doesn't really challenge the audience in any meaningful way, in terms of like, oh, like, you know, oh, do you empathize with him? Do you feel you know, sympathy for him? And it's like, at no point do we ever really feel sympathy for him, because we're watching a character that's messed up the whole time. We don't ever really feel bad for him, because even though bad things are happening to him, we know that he's messed up. We know that he's not a good person at heart. And you know, you could blame society for that, but it's like, that's really, that's the extent of the movie's message. If society wasn't bad to him, then he wouldn't turn out to be the Joker, okay? And if Batman's parents weren't killed, then he wouldn't have became the Batman. So what's your point? The movie tries to link the Joker around to the Waynes, and I feel like that's, you know, without going to spoilers, I think it's the weakest aspect of the story, and it was kind of just like, I don't like this. Like, I kind of wish you either don't include the Waynes at all and just keep this completely separate from anything comic booky or Batman-y, and just keep it focused on the Joker, but instead it tries to you know, reach out and grab a little bit of like, hey, you get this, guys? Because it's Batman, get it? It's like, oh, fuck you. To be honest, I don't have much more to say about this movie than that. I think that the story overall was kind of weak. The pacing is a little off. I thought the first half of the movie was just sort of boring. It just sort of exists, and everything's fine. It looks fine. You know, there are parts that I thought were good and clever. The closing shot of the movie is the most clever thing in the movie, and it's not even that clever because it's not that deep. Like, it's surface level shit. There was something that I had forgot to mention while filming this review, which was, I felt the movie to be really predictable in that I was constantly calling everything that was happening before it happened. When it came to the twist and the end of the finale of the movie and everything that was happening, I was like, okay, I know what's going on. I know what's happening. And especially when it comes to the twist, the movie actually gets really hand-holdy. And just in case you don't get it, just in case the audience is too stupid to understand the twist, it goes out of its way to illustrate it. And it's just like, well, we don't need this. We already understand what's going on. We already get it. We know what the twist is. And I don't want to spoil it for you, so I'm not going to mention it, but it's like, it's just really hand-holdy, and it's like really predictable. If you're going to see this movie, I think Joaquin Phoenix's performance is the saving grace of this movie. His performance is the only reason, really, why I'm giving Joker a 3 out of 5. Thank you for watching my review. If you like this video, please hit the like button. I would appreciate it if you could subscribe to see more movie reviews every Monday. You can find me on social media at The Shane Watson. Thanks for watching. See you later.